What's up, guys? It's Max, Ben, and for those of you who don't know, it's Hugh Johnson. Why don't you introduce yourself quickly?
How's it going, guys? I am a very avid Chicago sports fan, as well as pretty much all college football, specifically SEC and Big Ten. Love it all. Love gambling. Gave out some locks on last week's episode, wasn't that? Went 2-1.
2-1's a
Had
good
the West Virginia TCU over. That hit UVA -3 versus Louisville. That hit Illinois +5.5. Did not hit parlay Wisconsin, SMU, Northwestern. Almost hit SMU, lost late to Tulsa. They're good team. That's my credentials.
But I literally don't know anything about college football. That's why I have my friend Ben and I have my friend Hugh. They're going to take over this episode. First, I want to give a quick word to our sponsors. I've drinking enough today. I'm not going to drink another Red Bull. I have wings, like just infinite wings. I'm also not going to drink another Premier Protein because that's not good for you. I've already had 3 today. And the one thing I will do is I'll eat another Reese's because Reese's is the best candy ever, like without a doubt. While I'm eating this candy, I want Ben and Hugh to start the debate on tonight's game, Minnesota versus Purdue. I like Purdue. I don't know the spread, but I'll make my pick once I hear more about this game.
So I believe it opened at Purdue -2.5, and I think they're -1 now. So the line, public's clearly favoring Purdue. They've got a good coach. They got a good team this year. I like them a lot. Minnesota's supposed to be very good. They got that quarterback, Tanner Morgan, I think his name is, and not that great, turns out. So last year, maybe a fluke. We'll see. PJ Fleck's still a good coach, though. It's going to be a very interesting battle, but I have Purdue as well at the -1, I think is the current line.
I like
that. Plus a 0.5 point is Purdue's current line.
Oh, so
I have the line right now is actually moved to Minnesota at -1.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going Purdue here as well.
Across the board, we like Purdue.
Yeah. And lost last week against Northwestern, but held their own. Minnesota last week just kind of shit the bed really against Iowa.
Yeah.
So I like Purdue.
Any thoughts on that total there? It's at 60 right now.
I don't know enough. Do you think that's going to hit or will it be over under?
So I think that the last 5 or the beginning of the season has been about 4 or 5 games for each team. Purdue started like 3 straight unders, and then the 2 most recent games have been overs, and then kind of the same trend for Minnesota, starting out unders and then going overs. And it's a lot easier to track over unders in this season because you're only playing against your conference, so it's a similar play style. So I like the over here, over 60. It's kind of a lot of points for a Big Ten game, but it's Friday night. Anything can happen. 2 teams might not be that good, but we'll see. So I like the over here, but not a lock. I'll say that.
I'll take your word for it, but I don't know. What do you think about the total, Ben?
Well, I see that Purdue allowed 23.7 points per game. So they score 25 points per game. Again, the opposition changes every week. Big Ten is really unpredictable. So I might as well take the over. Like you said yesterday, Max, life's too short to bet the under.
I didn't say that. El Presidente Dave Portnoy said that, and I'm gonna become him.
I think that's Big Cat's thing.
We're not
stealing. But yeah, life is too short to bet the under.
Original sports brand. I don't need a lawsuit.
A lot of respect for them.
We have a lot of respect for you, Portnoy, but we're gonna beat you, and we're gonna be better than you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tag Portnoy in this video. Let's talk about Indiana, Ohio State. The only thing I know is Indiana is a good basketball team. They're not a good football team, so I'll take Ohio State by however many. Like, whatever the spread is, I like Ohio State by a lot.
20 and a half.
Yeah, I got it right in front.
21
and a half,
That's
which
perfect.
is
3 touchdowns.
That's kind of that's a crazy line for a number 9 team in the country going against the 3rd team in the country, and they're 20-point underdogs. You don't see that very often.
I don't see Indiana as the number 9 team in the country, though. don't think they deserve to.
True. I agree with that. I think the top 10 is very weird this year.
They have had a great start. It's been more of like a Cinderella type of thing than anything that I feel like is going to be sustainable. So for me, Ohio State, Justin Fields, that offense, they're going to blow it up. 20. I mean, they might not cover at 20.5, but they're definitely going to win this game easily.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
last week you said, Hugh, last week you said Wisconsin money line. The only reason I said Michigan money line is because I like to tail the public. Last
So I'm familiar.
was a terrible pick for me. Like, I'm going to listen to you from now on.
I've been on the Michigan hate train for a few years. I like Harbaugh a lot, but I just can't stand that program. So I always bet against them. It's been pretty good in big games.
He
terrible.
doesn't fit there. He just doesn't fit there. It's just not.
No.
It's not a college coach.
Rumor is he might be going to the Lions if they get rid of Patricia.
That's where
Interesting.
he belongs. He belongs in the NFL because he can't manage kids. He can only manage adults.
Yeah.
I don't know what the over-under is. Do either of you guys have the over-under pulled up?
Yeah, I got it right in front of me. It is 66.5, which is huge. Expecting a Ohio State blowout, essentially.
Yeah.
Because the real star of that Indiana team is their front seven. They get to the quarterback every single time. And to be fair, they played Michigan State, Michigan,
And Penn
some
State.
not that great offensive teams, but still pretty impressive that how much they're getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, 66 as an over-under is a little high, honestly, given the fact that Indiana, again, 19 points per game given up, front seven, it's pretty good. Ohio State's offense is incredible with Justin Fields, but, you know, in this Indiana front seven can get to the quarterback, maybe not as many points put on the board. Don't know about the over-under there.
Yeah,
I agree. I would play the under here. I think that's a smart move.
I like
But
that.
that might be the big public play at 66.5 in the Big Ten.
And you know what we do? We fade the public. But I'm going to change my pick from the beginning of this debate because you guys convinced me. I like Indiana plus 20.5, and I like the under.
I've kind of almost talked myself into Indiana at that huge line, but Justin Fields
He's good.
and Ryan Day. I mean, it's going to be no one's really been successful at beating them except Joe Burrow. He beat them last year, right?
Yeah, Joe Burrow beat everyone.
No, he beat Oklahoma. It was Clemson that beat them in the playoffs.
Trevor Lawrence.
But yeah.
Oh, that game last year. That game.
See, that's just an example
Anyway.
of why I don't know college football. I literally didn't even know who won the national championship.
Oh, it was one of the best offensive seasons of all time. It was arguably the third best college quarterback season ever from Joe Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
It's up there with Cam Newton 2010 and Vince Young in 2005. And Tebow's in there in 08, but impressive lineage.
Very good. And I don't know anything about this quarterback class, but the quarterback class last year, the top three picks, Tua, Burrow, and
it was Burrow, Tua, and
Herbert.
Herbert.
Yeah, that I have Herbert as my number one quarterback for FanDuel Friday. Like, he's gonna tear up the Jets.
Yeah,
I love talking about football, but I know more about NFL. So I'm gonna move on to Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. That's a rivalry game, and now it's closer than ever. I don't know who I'm gonna pick, so I'm gonna wait till the end to make my pick.
Yeah, so we were talking about this a little bit before, and very strange that Oklahoma State is the higher ranked team, and they did have some COVID issues, so I feel like they haven't played as many games. But they've played 6. Oklahoma's played 7. But Oklahoma State is ranked at number 14 in the country. Oklahoma is number 18 in the country, but Oklahoma is a 9.5-point favorite. So Vegas knows. We all kind of know Oklahoma's a really good team, but Spencer Rattler maybe not playing to the level we all thought he was going to be. He can't step up and be like a Trevor or a Justin. He hasn't in his freshman season so far. But we'll see what happens. I like kind of a toss-up for me here, but I'm going to go with Oklahoma State plus 7.5.
What about you, Ben?
I would say Oklahoma plus 7.5. Here I have the line. Oh, it actually just changed to plus 7. Yeah, I'll take Oklahoma State at plus 7. Their defense allows 170 pass yards per game. So against Rattler, who hasn't, again, he could be great.
Right.
He could be great.
That passing, however many yards they let up per game, that's very impressive considering, I mean, how much spread offense, West Coast style they're playing against.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I believe in this Oklahoma State team. Maybe OU wins the game, but I think they could definitely cover.
I agree.
I'm making my pick based on my decisions, and it's not just because I love fading you guys. It's because I like Oklahoma today. The reason why, I'm going to tell you, I base most of my predictions on logic, not statistics. But I think that Oklahoma will win because Oklahoma beat Texas. Texas beat Oklahoma State. So Oklahoma's the better team. I don't
Logic,
know.
reasoning. I agree. That makes sense.
Minus 7.5 is very easy. Even if it's minus 7, that's even easier. Like, buy the point, get it minus 6.5. I think that's a safe bet.
And so I'm just doing some looking right now. The line is only 60, which is the same line as like the Minnesota-Purdue game.
Yeah.
So for Oklahoma State to have that line,
Over.
I like the over. Public, 52% of the public's on the under at the moment. But there's a potential that could be a good teaser. Two teams just get the over decrease. You probably get it down to like 52 points. If you tease that with Oklahoma State, they're plus 7 right now.
So
if you teased Oklahoma State and the over in that game, you'd probably get it at like 52 and plus like 12. So I think that's a good play. It's a teaser between the over and Oklahoma State spread.
Okay, we only have 2 minutes left, so I want to hear Hugh. I want to hear Hugh's locks because he went 2-1 last week. Let's see what you do this week.
Yeah, it was a pretty good week. I'm excited. I'm a little biased. I go to the University of Missouri, but we're playing a University of South Carolina team that just lost their coach. He's been there for 5 years, Will Muschamp, and he's out of there. So interim guy, not really sure what their next plan is going to be. So I do like Mizzou there, and that line is at -5, Mizzou -5. And they're a team that beat LSU, who defending national champions. But yeah, Mizzou -5.5 and South Carolina and Columbia there. So that's number one. And then second is going to be Auburn -11.5. I love SEC this week. They didn't have a lot of games last week. There's a lot of good ones going on. Tennessee, Auburn, they hate each other, and Auburn's much better. 11.5 point spread. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer at this point. And then moving on to so that's 2, Mizzou and
one more. We're running out of time.
Mizzou and Auburn. Okay, just one more.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, I lost it real quick. And I like Cincinnati -3. Cincinnati might be the best team in the country. They're ranked number 7. They're Power 5 or Group of 5, excuse me. And they're -3 against UCF. Easy. Just chalk it up. Don't think too much about it. I like those 3.
I love that too. We're going to take your word for it. Me and Ben don't really have much to say on that. And the sun's coming in, so I'm going to move my camera. But this was another great episode. I hope that you're right. Maybe let's have another episode tomorrow and we'll talk about the games.
I'd love to.
Sounds good. This was great talking to you guys. And remember, follow me on Max S Sports on Instagram. Also follow FanDuel. We're trying to get endorsed by them. Today is FanDuel Friday for everyone at home.